The gang is back, baby. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another Stranger Things Season 5 update. Today, we've got another Ross Duffer post. Lots to dive into, but before I get into all that, be sure to hit that like button. It helps out more than you guys know. Subscribe and hit that notification bell to help reach my goal of 150,000 subscribers here on the channel. It would mean a lot. And if you guys want to watch movies and shows with me, including all of Stranger Things, you can do so on my Patreon. My commentary tracks for every episode of the show are out now, with the tracks for the first episode of every season being free. I also watch other movies and shows, and if you guys join at the $5 tier right now, you will be entered into a giveaway to potentially win this Stranger Things Funko Pop, a Disney 4K Steelbook, and a movie poster. There's only about 10 spots left, so make sure you get yours while you still can. Any support over on Patreon means more than you'll ever know. Alright, so after over a month off on social media, Ross Duffer is back at it again on Instagram with his photo dumps. We've got 9 photos to talk about. This is for weeks 15 through 19, and per usual, I'm gonna go through every single photo and break it down. And let me just say, it just feels right to be doing one of these videos again. It's been too long. We're starting out strong because this first picture gives us our very first look at Jonathan Byers in Season 5. We had seen some previous gifs of Jonathan, but this is the first time we've actually seen Charlie Heaton as Jonathan on set, and he's sitting next to Nancy Wheeler, played by Natalia Dyer, of course, but they're sitting in the back of a car looking out of a window. Something must be chasing them, right? Maybe a Demogorgon, Vecna, who knows? But if you look at them in the backseat of this car, it actually lines up perfectly with the previous gif that was released months and months ago from Ross Duffer, where we see both Jonathan and Nancy sitting in the backseat of a car. Now, whose car is it? It's Steve Harrington's, baby.
Screw Todd, Steve's her daddy now.
In the same previous gif where we see Jonathan and Nancy in the backseat of a car, we also see Dustin in the front seat of a car looking back at them, and in the middle of this car is a pole, or what we thought was a pole originally. Well, thanks to some paparazzi photos from weeks ago, we actually got a picture of Steve's car with an antenna on the roof. So this is just the base of that antenna that they've drilled into the middle of this car. Jonathan and Nancy are sitting in the back seat, Dustin sitting in the passenger seat. Who's driving the car? Likely Steve Harrington himself, because it's his car. So based on this one picture and the previous gifts from months ago, I'm now thinking that Jonathan, Nancy, Steve, and Dustin are a potential character grouping for Season 5. We all know that all the main characters are going to be together for most of this season, but they're obviously going to have to branch off and do separate missions. We've seen that in all the other seasons. Well, it seems like Jonathan, Nancy, Steve, and Dustin are going to be one of those team-ups, and I'm real interested to see how Steve and Jonathan might be competing for Nancy's love, and Dustin's just there being an interrogator. I can't wait to see how that all goes down. In this next picture, we can see the Duffers with Joe Keery, Natalia Dyer, and Charlie Heaton all looking at a screen, and they're likely reviewing a scene they just filmed. Everyone has a big smile on their face, so I can only imagine how awesome whatever they just shot was. But let's talk about the wardrobe here. In the back, we can see Joe Keery is rocking a knit sweater. Chef's kiss. He looks beautiful as always. I can't wait to see what other outfits Steve is rocking in this final season. Nancy's crushing it per usual, and then Jonathan looks like he's just wearing your standard t-shirt. My big takeaway with this picture is I want to know what the hell they're looking at. Are they reviewing a scene they just shot? Or is Ross Duffer sitting down and saying, hey, this is how I want this scene to go down, and it's going to be something epic, awesome, or even comedic? Who knows? But with Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy together, that is 100% harkening back to the Season 1 character groupings as we saw them at the Byers house taking on the Demogorgon, so it just feels right to have a Season 1 character pairing together in this final season. This next picture is of Maya Hawke, who we all know plays Robin, and this looks like some behind-the-scenes shenanigans photo as she's like dancing or something. But my mind immediately went to where are they shooting this? It looks like they're in some shed or barn, which would likely be on one of the farm sets, which lines up because we know they've been filming at one very recently. Robin is rocking a scarf here, and if we look at her outfit compared to the outfit of Steve, Jonathan, and Nancy, it's just further evidence that we are in a colder season or colder time period, further proof of that time jump into likely the fall of 1987. In this next photo, we see Charlie Heaton with Matt Duffer, and they're both smiling on set. Where are they? No clue. Couldn't tell you for money. If you zoom in the background, it looks like there's some vents, maybe some blinds, but it's really impossible to tell where they actually film this. It could be on a soundstage for all we know. And of course, this fifth picture is a callback to the previous gifs I've been mentioning. This is Charlie Heaton in the backseat of Steve's car. It's crazy how far we've come from theorizing about these previous gifs to actually seeing the actors on set filming out these scenes, and eventually we'll sit down and watch the scenes themselves in the finalized eps. This next picture is where the WSQK radio station comes into play, seemingly the most important new location in Season 5 so far. As you guys can see, the WSQK radio station van is in full frame here with with 94.5 FM underneath it. The van is called the Squawk, or that could just be the name of the radio station, like 94.5, the Squawk. And there's an eagle painted on that thing. It honestly reminds me of some of the gunships from like the Clone Wars era in Star Wars, specifically the Clone Wars micro series. Regardless, this van looks sick, and I sense this is the new iconic Stranger Things vehicle. Surfer Boy Pizza Van, step aside, because there's a new sheriff in town. I'm also just imagining how cool the Funko Pop's gonna be, and I'm like, what character is gonna be paired up with this? Is it gonna be Joyce and Hopper with this van? Who's driving around this van? It could be the Linda Hamilton character again, we really have no clue. Now this next photo at first glance seems pretty meaningless, but I did some quick research, and there might be a lot more to it than I thought. So as you guys can see, it's a G.I. Joe lunchbox, one of those old metal tin lunchbox. It says a real American hero underneath. That was the catchphrase for G.I. Joe back in the days. And when it comes to G.I. Joe, obviously we have some newer films like The Rise of Cobra and the second film that's name's escaping me with Dwayne Johnson and Bruce Willis for some reason. They're not very good movies. But back in the 80s, there was the animated G.I. Joe series, and of course G.I. Joe toys have been around for decades. Well, in 1983, G.I. Joe, A Real American Hero, The Mass Device came out. This was a TV miniseries, and I'm gonna read you guys the main plot description on IMDb. The G.I. Joe Special Missions Force must battle to build a counterweapon to Cobra's teleportation device. Cobra's like the evil entity in G.I. Joe. So could this picture of a lunchbox be hinting at this G.I. Joe TV special? Ross Duffer's done crazier things. In past photo dumps, he's been very cryptic as well. For example, one of them included the cover of A Wrinkle in Time, the novel, which could have been hinting at time travel. This G.I. Joe lunchbox could be hinting at teleportation in the final season. But also when it comes to teleportation, in a way, right? The Upside Down is a teleportation device between the real world and the Upside Down. So in reality, this plot synopsis could also be a nod to that, and how our main gang has to form this plan with special forces to eradicate the Upside Down, Vecna, the Mind Flayer, all that jazz. All I'm saying is that once season 5 comes out, I feel like we're gonna be able to go back to a lot of these photo dumps and go through all the pictures that seemed meaningless, like this lunchbox or the cover of A Wrinkle in Time, the novel. We're gonna look back and be like, wow, he was laying some hints months and months ago. We just didn't have the context. And this next photo is of a Transformers shirt, blanket, towel, question mark? I don't know. All we can really make out is Optimus Prime. I have no clue what this is. Is this on the back of someone's head? Is it maybe Castle Byers in the background? I really can't tell. On the one hand, this could just be referencing something that was popular in the 80s, as Stranger Things typically references iconic 80s things in pop culture. But I also wonder if this could be a nod to some of our characters transforming the cars. Obviously not into Autobots or Decepticons, but something along the lines of Steve adding an antenna to his car. Or perhaps the Squawk. Who knows what that thing is capable of. It might take flight for all we know.
Fly!
And of course, rounding up these Raw Stuffer photo dumps, as always, we've got another video of a marble being added to the Days Shot Bowl, classic Oppenheimer style. But that's not all. We got some bonus pictures over on the Upside Down Pictures account, which is the Duffer Brothers production company. There's not a lot of meat on the bone here, but it's still worth talking about real quick. The first one is the Duffers on set looking at an iPad, probably visualizing a scene they're about to shoot. I have no clue where they are. Like, the background looks like the inside of a tree trunk or Dagobah or something. I'm sure it's some set piece from the Upside Down. The next shows Raw Stuffer next to the Eddie Squishmallow, and that thing is massive. The Stranger Things broadcast channel did an unboxing of it. It's like the size of a few full-grown men. The next photo in the background reveals more of that farm set, which I'm pretty sure is where that leaked audio of "Do you hear me? You need to run" came from. And the last, we've got some goofing around near the trailers on set. The caption was, "A typical day at the office." Seems like a pretty damn fun office to be working at. But that does it for all the Instagram updates from Raw Stuffer on both his personal account and the Upside Down Pictures. It had been a while, so there was a lot to fill us in on. We got our first look at Jonathan Byers, some new looks at Nancy, Steve, and Robin, and we're quickly approaching the halfway point of this calendar year. Filming started up at the beginning of the year, so that means we're almost half a year through filming this final season, which means we're almost halfway through filming in general. So I would not be surprised if we got a quick teaser over the summer, likely at Tadum, which is Netflix's big event where they promote upcoming projects, and it's like a 30-second to a minute-long teaser just to feed us a little bit. But if we don't get it over the summer or at Tadum, I'll say what I've said for a while now. I would almost guarantee we get that first teaser on Stranger Things Day, November 6th of this year. But all that to say, we're getting there and we're almost halfway through filming. In the blink of an eye, they'll be done filming, and then in a blink of another eye, we'll be sitting down to watch the final season on Netflix. But that does it for this big ol' Stranger Things Season 5 update video. Let me know your predictions in the comments down below. What are your thoughts on all these pictures? When do you think we'll get the first trailer? Let me know all that and more down below. Hit that like button, it helps out more than you guys know. And if you want to watch Stranger Things with me, you can actually do so on my Patreon, link down below. My commentary tracks for every single episode are out right now. You guys pull up the episode on Netflix, sync up with me, and watch along. My tracks for the first episode of every single season are free. And if you join right now at the $5 tier, you'll be entered into a giveaway. There's only 10 spots left, so make sure to get yours while you still can. But that'll do it for this update. Thank you guys, as always, for watching. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.